Hello everybody, I hope you guys are all doing super duper well. Sorry for the day delay this week. St. Louis had some of the worst weather we've had so far this year. It got very cold, very rainy, and it stayed that way for 2 days, which makes shooting on the Mansard roof in the lift very difficult, as you can imagine. Luckily, today, which is Monday, we had some much nicer weather. Still cold, but at least sunny, so I can get out there and show you guys the work I've done. I got done with the work up there about an hour after the rain had already started, so luckily everything that I did was in a spot of the house that doesn't get very much weather, or really any at all, so it wasn't a problem, but it was a big problem, of course, filming. So let's get into that, and I'll share that with you all. Alright, so I've got my harness on. The weather is looking much nicer today. Let's go check out how everything turned out up on the Mansard roof. Well, that's quite a bit better. Although I have to say it does lack a little bit of the contrast I thought it would. But I do think most of that is the fact that it is just the primer layers that are on here right now and not enough coats to really give me the full colors. As far as the color is concerned, I'll show you guys what the 2 swatches I've made downstairs with the paint, how those are actually turning out. I think you'll see the contrast will actually pop quite a bit more once we get inside. Now we'll get back to the roof here in a second, guys, but I did want to show you guys the actual contrast to these 2 colors. Obviously, it's much harder to see up on the roof because it's in shadow. So when there's a bit more paint on the Mansard roof, this is basically how the contrast is going to end up looking. This, of course, being the green, that is kind of the primary color up there, and then the darker highlight here of the oxide brown. So what we see up on the roof right now isn't as poppy as it will be. You guys will have to let me know what you guys think about this. One thing about it is I am colorblind, so it is harder for me to see the contrast in the colors. Obviously the brown is very red, but in the rendering I made it was quite a bit darker. But again, you guys will have to just let me know what you think. I think it's looking pretty good. Let's get closer and have a slightly closer look. So here you can see, yeah, the colors are quite a bit different. You can see the brown on these 2 pieces, the lighter green, and then the main green. Of course, none of it is fully vibrant. You can still see quite a bit of the wood grain underneath it. That's because this is just the first very, very light primer coat. And I kind of was able to just sneak in getting this stuff on here this week. Basically, we had a pretty big rainstorm this weekend, and the weather dropped from being about 80 degrees to about 45 degrees within just a few hours. And so that was when I was trying to do this painting. Luckily, because this area doesn't really see much water, again, this was dry when I came back to it the next day and just double checked in the rain. So thank goodness for that, because this would have been way harder to do if this were on any other side of the house. Moving over from where we just were, there is this one last little area that, yes, does need some cleanup. Obviously, we're missing a corbel here. You can see where it attaches right here. That one more or less completely disintegrated. It is no good any longer, so there's a brand new one down in the basement ready to go and take its place. A squirrel/pigeon nest is probably what got this area. You can see some of the sticks there. I've cleaned out most of it, but essentially when water would get in through here, the nest would hold the water and the moisture for longer, therefore allowing the wood to rot and never fully dry. But essentially, this is the last little bit of paint that I actually have to get off. This piece of wood here, I'm pretty sure is shot, and probably will have to be replaced, so I'm not gonna worry about that piece. But this little piece here, and there's a little tiny bit of paint right there on the bottom of this corbel, and that's it. But believe it or not, even though it looks like I'm super close to it, I actually have to reposition the lift again back to the front yard, because if I try to get it from here, I just can't quite reach. I am probably about 3 feet away from being able to actually handle that area from this position, but I am at the farthest reach of my boom right now. Basically I have this position so where I can still use my driveway, and so again, to still be able to use my driveway, I've got to move it back into the front yard. So, but this area here should actually dry tonight, so maybe tomorrow, really quickly before I do move the lift, I'll try to throw a proper first coat of paint on this, which should again brighten all the colors up and provide a bit more contrast here. Obviously, I think once I have more of the color up here, and it's not just this primer coat, which is such a thin coat, I think it's gonna look really super nice. I do like how much red there is in this brown. This is an iron oxide brown, and I think it really works very nicely with the bricks. As you can see here and here with the brick, I think it looks really nice together. Of course, this will also go that darker color, but I'm not sure if any of this molding down here is any good, so that's why I haven't touched it yet. So we'll just kind of play it by ear, throw some more stuff up. Should be good. It should be a very exciting time because the look of the house is starting to come together. Having all 3 colors in play of the entire color scheme for the house, besides the stone front. Kind of seeing them all together for the first time. It's pretty cool. And also, again, just the added level of detail with just taking the paint off in general is so incredible. It adds so much contrast to the piece. The shadows alone add so much of a new dimension to the way the house looks. It looks so much nicer without those really thick, disgusting, 20 plus layers of paint on there. So yeah, overall, couldn't be happier. Now to the piece that used to go right here. Let's go check that out because I've got it pretty well wrapped up in the basement. So here we are with that little detached piece that goes on the side of the cornice that gets the brick. The last little piece. If you guys remember from last week, this was 3 pieces of wood, and now it is all one solid piece. But overall, I think it came out really nice. Nothing really too major to write home about. You can see some of the glue up marks. And I do need to get this backside primed as well. Not for aesthetic reasons, of course, but for protective reasons. Nice thing about this paint, linseed oil paint, that I have been using, this stuff right here, it's actually the fact that it does not trap any kind of moisture. It does allow the wood to naturally breathe, which means there will be no problem with any kind of rot or anything. So yeah, so the wood should be able to allow all the moisture out of it when it does get wet, and still have quite a protective surface to prevent it from getting wet. So yeah, it came out quite nice. And this is the other corbel that I ended up having take down on the very far side of the cornice. And it's pretty much ready to go now. It needs a little bit of touch up with paint here and there. But overall, all the corbels are now done. Now that just a little bit of paint, basically we're more or less done with the cornice, which is super exciting. I'm very excited to have that done, behind me, done, dusted, all of it gone. It was a lot of work to get all of that paint off of there. Get all the new paint back up there, and things over there are starting to look better. Obviously there's a giant hole in the cornice, so there's work and improvement to be done, but we're getting there. That's going to be the next task. I actually got a text last night from Eric. Work begins today, so the day you guys are watching this. Parts for the Mansard roof, the last few remaining parts of the roof, are being made and will be installed very soon. So super exciting news. I hope you guys are excited as I am, because as soon as I can get the Mansard roof done, that takes a huge weight off my shoulders. It's the last thing roof-wise that leaks here at the house. It's the last bit of water intrusion. It's really the last huge task I have to take on here. And of course that would allow me a lot more time to do the tasks you guys really want to see. I know a lot of you guys would like me to do room by room, but you know, until I can get the Mansard done, the plumbing done, and the electrical done, I can't seal up any walls completely. And yes, the bathroom that I did downstairs here is sealed up completely, but not on the outside of the walls, and that's at a completely interior room. Not a single one of the walls touches the outer walls of the house. So I can leave all of the wires and the plumbing and everything exposed to be inspected at a later date, and still enclose the entire inside, which is why that room was done, wall to wall, completely finished. Because more or less it's the only one I could do that in. But of course, every day, that much closer. You know, these things do take time, and I have zero issue with putting the time in. So we'll keep on trucking, one step closer to having this beautiful, beautiful house restored. Yeah, quick little time lapse there of me installing some insulation. As I said earlier in the video, St. Louis got cold all of a sudden. Now it's not going to stay that way till the end of the year. There's going to be ups and downs. Surrey's weather just does that. But it was a good idea to go ahead and throw that in there since currently we are below freezing. Now later in this coming week it won't be the case, but I wanted to go ahead and make my heating bill as low as possible this year because it was pretty high last year. So every little bit helps. So ladies and gents, that is the video. I hope you guys all enjoyed. I think next week is going to be an amazing week. There's a lot going on. And it really should be the beginning of the end of the problem that is the Mansard roof. Of course, still lots to do even after the woodwork is done up there and restored. There's still copper flashing, which I'm currently learning how to do. Need to buy a metal brake here at some point, which is what you use to bend metal. Also slate, something I'm gonna have to learn how to do as well. But of course I have the cheat code, which is the lift, which should make both of these processes fairly smooth. So thank you guys so much, as always, for watching these videos, for enduring the never-ending project with me. And yeah, I'll see you guys again next week. Have a great one. See you guys then. Bye-bye.